Hello. Today, something a little different. Some of you might have seen on social media that I've bought another car. This is like a family wagon, so it's not really my car, it's my wife's car. But we've bought a 2005 Nissan X-Trail, 2.5 litre petrol. It's a good car. I like it. I like it a lot, actually. Drives really nice. Went up to Stevenage to go and look at it, and it's one of them sort of situations that I travelled quite a way to go and look at it, and I should have walked away. The car itself's really clean, bodywork's pretty good, a couple of little dings on it, but you know, it's an old car, so I wasn't expecting it to be perfect. Took it for a little spin, drove nice, no knocks, shakes, rattles, rolls, it all seemed pretty good. In the advert, it did actually say that it has an occasional misfire and the engine management light occasionally comes on, so I thought, well, that's no bother, you know, that doesn't really bother me. An occasional misfire could be plug, coil, injector, you know, as long as it's not misfiring all the time, it's got to be something simple, isn't it, really? It can't be, you know, something like rings or a valve or something like that, so, you know, it didn't really bother me. But anyway, went and had a look at it, drove it around for a little bit, all good, lifted up the bonnet and thought, oh, I can smell engine oil, you know, that hot engine oil smell. And I sort of looked underneath, thought, well, it's not leaking. You know, it looks absolutely fine. Pop the dipstick out, it's not really breathing heavy. So I thought, well, why can I smell that? I thought, well, maybe someone's been, you know, topped it up and spilt it or something. So then I looked at the coolant expansion tank on the driver's side inner wing, and I noticed some little bubbles coming out of there. And that got my mind thinking. I thought, egg gasket? So I took the rad cap off and I smelt in there. And yeah, that's where the oil smell was coming from. And I'm like, oh God, no, you know, I should walk away. I should walk away. But I thought, you know what, I've come this far. Oh, I'm going to chance it. Sod it. It wasn't misfiring. So, you know, and I say, like I say, it drove really nice. And it was cheap, and it was pretty cheap. So I drove it the 110 miles all the way back. The heaters didn't work, and I'm now thinking, you know, every time I sort of stop at a roundabout and pull away, there's only a little puff of white smoke, so steam. So my thoughts are coming, yeah, you know, it's got to be something like head gasket. Got it back home, no problem at all, didn't overheat, you know, nothing else happens. Temperature gauge stayed bang in the middle, so I thought it can't be that bad. I've done the old head gasket sniffer test, you know, the combustion gas detector on the cooling system, and yeah, it turned colour, not instantly, but you know, after about 30 seconds. So yeah, it's definitely got a head gasket leak. Shame really, but you know, so my wife contacted the person we bought it from, because he didn't say anything about head gasket or cooling problems or anything like that. She contacted me, very kindly refunded us 250 quid towards the parts to fix it, because obviously I'm going to fix it myself. So we've ordered the parts, all from Nissan as well. Didn't want to use pattern parts, just, you know, plus the fact my daughter's boyfriend works for Nissan, he got a bit of a discount on the parts. And if you use genuine parts, you're not really going to have any troubles, are you? So I thought, while it's apart, I'll do the timing chain, head gasket, valve stem seals, you know, I'll do the works on it while it's apart. So hopefully, next little bit of this video, I'll show you what we're doing. And I'll show you the symptoms first, if I can get round to it. It's currently Saturday at the moment, when I'm filming this intro. I'm actually sitting in the car waiting for my wife to do a bit of shopping in the shops. So tomorrow is actually when I'm going to start on it. I'm going to show you all the symptoms and everything first. Obviously, I can't show you the smell. That could be good. Good if it could. You don't want to smell it anyway, it's disgusting. So, yeah, so I'll show you what it's doing, the reason for it. And as I say, it's the first time I've ever had one of these Nissan engines apart. So I'll be learning as I go. So my daughter's boyfriend does work for Nissan. He's going to be helping me. Or more like I'm going to be helping him, I hope. Hopefully he'll do it for me, if you know what I mean. No, he's a good lad. So yeah, we're both going to get mucked in. He said he'd give us a hand. So yeah, looking forward to pulling it apart. So I've chatted shit now for 5 minutes. So right, here we go. On to the symptoms. This is probably the worst it's been. Look, engine's off and that's still bubbling away. There's obviously a lot of pressure in the cooling system because the hoses are really quite hard as well. But that's kind of normal for a hot engine. But yeah, so this is what we're going to be pulling apart. Also these, this right in here, that sort of rung alarm bells when I bought it as well. Don't know quite what that is. I would say breaker's yard right in, so, but it's all coming off anyway because this is all broken. So, but looks quite an easy job. Right, I'm now going to show you the second part of the diagnostic side of things for this head gasket symptoms. Let me flip the camera around. This is what you need next. According to this little tube here, automotive cylinder head combustion test. So let me just show you how this works. First of all, you've got this little piece here, which is the little nozzle that sits on the end. It's got a cork filter in the end of it, and that sits inside this little tube like that, and then this pushes down on there. This is the part that sits in the radiator cap, and the air will travel up through this little cork filter bit. That sits on the end of that tube. Some of this blue liquid here, remember that colour, blue, that goes into this little vessel. And last of all, you've got this little pump which draws the air in through the bottom there and pumps it out through the top, so it only pulls the air one way. It's got a little one-way valve in it. And then you assemble it. Oh, and let's see if I can get a nice clear picture of, oh, there we go, look. You see that's a nice blue colour through there. Probably see it, not quite see it better in the daylight, but nice blue colour. So what we're actually looking for, if this smells hydrocarbons, it changes the chemical on this, changes the colour of this chemical, and it goes like a pea green or yellowy sort of colour. And this does work for petrols or diesels. And I'm now going to show you how it works on this X-Trail. So, cold or hot engine. I prefer hot engine, but obviously be careful when you're opening this because it's under pressure and there's hot liquid in there, especially if you've got a head gasket gone. There might be excessive pressure in there, so you've got to be pretty careful. So fortunately, with a Japanese style cap, this kind of wedges in there just nicely. So let me just start the car up. And if I predict right, wedge that in there nicely. Hopefully this will start bubbling by itself. So here we go. So now that's drawing the air through there, so it's sniffing the air inside the radiator. And of course there shouldn't be hydrocarbons, exhaust gases in the cooling system. Unless of course you're looking at something like head gasket. I don't know if you can see the colour change in that already. But that has drastically changed colour very, very quickly. Right, let me take that off. I'll go back in here where you can see it. You can see it's gone like a green sort of colour now. It's gone a lot more sort of clearer as well. So there you go. That's my second bit of the diagnostics done. You can really see that's quite a green actually closer up. So there we go. Cylinder head gasket replacement. Part 2 coming up.